Hello again, I'm Bob Colton. We're continuing conversations in Charlotte Public Schools. Tina VanSyckle is with me today. Tina, tell me a little bit about yourself, and you're engaged with the young professionals here in Charlotte.
Yes, I've been in Charlotte over 20 years now, teaching business and technology to our students, and I'm the advisor of Business Professionals of America, also known as BPA, and we help the students with their technology and business skills, communication skills that they learn in the classroom, and how they can take them and compete outside of the classroom, both at the regional, state, and national levels.
So what are the kids most interested in?
We have a variety of probably about 45 different competitions that the students can choose from. Your hands-on computer activities, things like word processing, spreadsheets, presentations. We also have team events, but it's really exciting to see the students do prepared speech, extemporaneous speech, interview skills, and then I have some students who have done animation, web development, and a variety of other things.
So how does that happen? They actually kind of lead you to where they want to go, or do you have kind of an agenda of where do you want these young business folks to go?
Well, the requirement of the business club is they must be enrolled in a business or technology class in the year of enrollment. And so this year I have some students who are come forward, and a lot of times it's recruiting on my part though too. I take a look at the students that I have in the classroom, and I determine, I try to pick some out that might sometimes be the shy ones that are looking for an opportunity to maybe just spread their wings. And so I'll approach some students and ask them if they're interested in joining BPA. I tell them more about it, what they can learn, and how it's a benefit for scholarship opportunities, as well as looks great on a resume for a job interview. And then after we get the opportunity to talk a little bit more, I identify the skills that they've learned in the classroom, and then tell them how they can match those skills with competition. And we do some practice. We meet twice a month at lunch, and we do practice with those competitions, and I work with the students one-on-one, and they also meet in small groups, and then we determine what additional practice they need before the day of competition here in January.
So how big is the group? Are the kids really energized, young people energized in doing these kinds of activities?
Well, we have had as small of a group as 5, and then we've also expanded up to about 15 to 20 students. So it depends on the year, it depends on if there's enough room in the students' schedule and calendar that they can participate in BPA. And so it's different from year to year.
Hey, well, you're also the key person for technology in the high school. Tell us a little bit about what some of the things that you have to do, and technology is changing so rapidly. I don't know how you keep up.
Well, we do meet twice a month. We have a county curriculum meeting, and we meet twice a month where we take a look at what the technology needs are within our district, but then also we compare that with other schools and what their needs are too, so we can make sure that we are preparing our students for those needs outside of high school. And then with that, we also have an advisory board that we meet with, which is a collection of the business and industry people that come to us, and they share what those needs are that they have in the workplace, and then we try to match those needs with the skills and teach the students so that they are prepared, and we're preparing a good worker for them.
Well, what are the trends? What are the folks in business looking for from young people who are going through a high school program?
Well, you're looking for the basic needs of a word processing and a spreadsheet, and then a presentation software. And so we currently teach the students on 2007 Microsoft Office, and we do focus on Microsoft Word and Excel, and then PowerPoint. We do a little bit of an exposure to Access. That's the database program that most students don't have a need for until they get into business and industry and work with something specific. But they're looking to make sure that the students have the skills in those 3 software packages, as well as the soft skills. The advisory board shared with us that it's important that the students are proud of themselves, that they are dressing professional, that they are coming to the workplace wanting to be a team member, and that they are able to communicate well and a variety of other soft skills.
And so you probably find that the technology is really just kind of a tool for them to do what they would hopefully be doing anyway, right?
It is. It is. Depending on the job that the students are applying for, we try to share with them that computers are part of everyday life, no matter what your job may be, whether you're taking your car in to get something figured out with the engine. What do they do first? They hook it up to a computer and run a diagnostics on it. So, computers are used in every part of everyday life.
Yeah, and so what are you seeing that young people really want when they come into the club and look for in technology? Are they looking to interact with other students? Are they looking for a leg up on the professional world? Are they looking to prepare themselves to go on to study at the university level?
I think it's a combination of all three. We tend to see students who may be a little bit more quiet, a little more shy, and so this opportunity gives them the chance to spread their wings. It also gives them the opportunity to network with other students and also professionals. I have a young man last year did very well in a competition, and the judges for the competition pulled me aside and just said numerous times on how impressed they were with his caliber of work at a junior level in high school. And so I passed that information on to him, which helped give him some confidence, and then he's continuing in some similar competitions and then for this year. And it also gives the students an opportunity to do some workshops outside of school. We went to a practice day where Davenport University hosted the event, and we share what contests the students will be working in, and then they work with college students and college advisors on tips and suggestions. Like the one young lady, she was working on her resume and her cover letter and got a lot of great information, came back and made those necessary changes before submitting the competition in December.
You've been doing this you've been here in Charlotte for a long time. Mm-hmm. Have you found that the needs of young people have been changing?
Well, they do change every year, but I think more that the BPA club offers the students the opportunity to socialize and network with people outside of their school. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're comfortable within their own setting, but it gives them the opportunity to meet professionals, meet with other students, and really learn what it's like to sit in a professional setting and dress professionally and portray that professional atmosphere that maybe they don't get to in the everyday classes here at Charlotte.
I would imagine most of these young people are looking to go on to study at a university level, or at least for some specialized program then. Mm-hmm. And so at the university level, what do you also have to share with them in the classroom to make sure that they're prepared for the university? Because the business group is just an add-on. They also have to certainly be prepared in the classroom, don't they?
Yes, I think all students need to be prepared in the classroom. It doesn't really matter what the subject matter is. They need to learn time management, which they are learning by being a part of any extracurricular club, because they have to balance their academics, plus they have to balance their homework, and then any outside activities and any clubs and things going on in Charlotte. I think they also need to learn responsibility. They also need to learn to be independent, make their own decisions.
Hey, talk a little bit about those presentation skills, because I would imagine that communication skill is pretty important for young people. Although they're so tied to technology, they often don't interpersonally communicate as often or as well as they should. What do you have to do to help them improve their interpersonal skills?
Well, that's one of the things that the advisory board shared with us, is that sometimes students with all the technology, they have maybe lost some of those social skills. And so we work with that every day in our classroom. We work with communication with their students side by side, communicating with students, but then we also get into small group, and when they're working in team situations, they have to divide up whatever their duties are among maybe a 4-person team. Then they have to learn how to communicate and then share that information, and then more of the projects are shared at the end with a presentation. Not formal, but just practicing what it's like to stand up and share information in front of their peers and in front of a group. They each take part in that. and share the information about the project, what part they did, and then the final result at the end. And that's more of what we hear from the advisory board, is that the young person sometimes has lost some of those social skills. But then we've also worked with, I have students that also complete the job shadow assignment too, where they get the opportunity to learn what it's like in the workplace in a career that they're interested in. And we complete an activity called GNAP, GNAP, where we practice our handshakes, we practice
No
our
kidding.
body posture,
Good.
we practice our eye contact, and the GNAP stands for greeting. So if they have said good morning or good afternoon. Their association, where are they from, student from Charlotte High School. Their name, making sure they say a first name and last name, so identifying themselves. And then what's their purpose? Why are they here today? Are they here for an interview? Are they here to job shadow? Are they here to simply pick up an application for employment? But that way they've announced themselves to the person that they are meeting, and they've gained some confidence too. So we practice that in the classroom. And it's interesting how uncomfortable the students are at first, but then after they get the giggles and stuff out of their system, then they're pleased and they're happy with where they've ended up there at the end of the class period. And I shake my hand with every student and practice so that they get the opportunity to make the mistakes in the classroom and then gain the confidence and do it correctly in the workplace.
So you're kind of getting them to some social interaction, but also really coaching them in how to act in any kind of situation and have an elevator speech, for loss of a better term, just a short, simple statement about themselves or what they're doing. And that's a difficult thing for a lot of young people to do.
It is. It's very scary. Like I said, when we first start this, the students kind of giggle and they don't know how to shake a hand and they don't know how to look someone in the eye and keep good eye contact. So we practice these skills so that the students do have confidence, whether it is picking up a job application, applying for an interview, a scholarship interview, or even if it's a social and networking event where they are asked to participate in a group activity out in the business world. How do they greet the person, and how do they identify themselves with confidence and professionalism?
What do you think that business people are looking for in young people? Are their expectations high, or maybe even too high?
I don't think they're too high. I actually think that the students will meet the bar wherever you set the bar. So if your expectations are maybe medium, then that's where they will meet them. If you set them higher, I think they will meet those high goals. And I think our advisory board out there made it clear to us that they would like students to come and bring something to the business, bring something to the table, really want to participate, take ownership with wherever they may be in their job, even if it is a temporary job. Maybe it's a stair-stepping position to their future career, or a temporary job, a short-term job for working their way through college, but that they are proud of where they are, they're a contributor every day, that they're there to make a meaningful contribution to the workplace.
Yeah, that first job is certainly not going to be the last job, but it is important, isn't it? What do you tell young people about trying to get that first job?
Well, I say approach the first job just like you do any other job. Go forward with confidence and share with them what your skills are and why that you're there, and that you can contribute to their company, even if it is a short-term position. Every job is an opportunity for something else, so you never know where that job may offer you the next job or where that next opportunity may be. But I tell the students that, if you do leave a position, that it's good to always leave your opportunities open. Never leave on a sour note, because you don't know when you may need to use that person as a reference later down the road. So I try to tell them to stay as positive and professional as possible.
It must be difficult for young people who haven't had a job or a series of jobs to go into the workforce, because they don't have a substantial resume. What sort of tips can you give them about building that sort of resume, or at least offering some of the potential skills that they might share with a business?
We actually do a career unit in all of my classes. We do resumes and cover letters. We also do interviewing skills and some job applications we fill out. even with the students as young as freshmen and sophomores, it is a struggle at times to help them fill a resume, but it's also a beginning resume. So we tell them, even if you haven't had a paid position, think of all the work experience that you may have. Babysitting, or even watching nieces or nephews or cousins, maybe helping the neighbor next door shovel to the driveway or rake the leaves. Where have you volunteered your time to show the skills that you have, that you can bring forth, that you are responsible, that you are a leader, that you work in a team setting? Those are all what we call transferable skills. So no matter what position that you may have, those are the skills that you can take with you and demonstrate in the workplace, whether it's a paid or unpaid position.
You know, it's probably easier to share some guidelines and templates for young people who want to succeed in the business world. It's a little more difficult to help them think creatively, isn't it? I mean, because really in business, people solve problems every day. How do you tell them to work through that sort of thing, or what sort of words of confidence would you try to share with young people?
Well, we do in a team setting. We have to work through some problem-solving skills, and that's sometimes hard to do when so many of our young people, I think, are individuals, and they work individually. And so when you put them in a team of 3 or 4, and they do have to tackle a project together, what is that like, and how do you get through it? And I try to help them identify that, lay out all the options, and then there will be some compromise in there, and to look at the options and which one is going to get them to the result that they need to at the end. So it is sometimes hard for young people because I think they work best independently.
Yeah, that team stuff is tough because they have to spend more time. It takes more time to work with other people and negotiate and work through problems and communicate, and that really is a challenge to young people going into the workforce. If they have a task, maybe that's okay, but you know, the group stuff must be challenging.
It is a challenge, and that's where we try to help them through identifying where their strengths are and help them to communicate in a professional way to get their point across so that their thoughts are being shared with the other students. But then also they have to use their ears and listen to their other teammates as well, and then share all the decisions that are out there to be able to come up with the right one that's best for their project.
So you sort of have them split off into a pro and con kind of list, but do you help them with any advice or ways to listen a little bit better, to solve those problems, to gather information? Because I know that sometimes for a young person who doesn't have those skills can be a difficult thing to do.
It is difficult, and that's where I try to tell the students to list all of their thoughts and all of their ideas. And sometimes all we do is list it on paper, and then they kind of set those aside and move on to something else, and then I remind them to come back and revisit, because sometimes with a fresh mind the next day, you're maybe more open to some other opportunities that you didn't think of before, and also maybe the opportunities that your teammates came up with. And then, you know, start crossing out some of the things that maybe will not work for our decision, for our team. But then I think it also helps them to realize they will need to compromise, that their idea may not be the best idea, nor is someone else, but maybe a blend of these together, as that's the way it is in the workplace, that you do have to work in a team and everyone contributes, and then you all agree on the final project.
And Tina, what's your pitch to parents to help them encourage their young people to get involved in the group, and also, you know, even in the classroom and some of these high-tech business-oriented things that you're doing?
Well, I try to share with the parents. We have a brochure at the beginning of the year, and I try to share that with them that come to conferences, and share with them the opportunities that BPA has for them, that they will not only take the skills that they're learning in the classroom and be able to compete, but sometimes it will help them gain confidence and gain skills. Later, it is also a resume builder, so that it shows that they are being social and yet also a leader and directly related to the curriculum that we have. And then also it gives them the confidence to work with other people. And then also the college applications and scholarship essays. I've had students that have come back and shared, because previous employers have noticed that the BPA club was something on their resume, and the student had shared, the person interviewed them shared that they were also in a BPA club at their school. So then there was a connection there, and conversation went on. So.
Well, Tina, that's a great pitch, and thank you for the conversation. We'll continue our conversations in Charlotte Public Schools. I'm Bob Cool.